With Comic-Con at home happening, this was the one I was most excited for, which wasn't part of Comic-Con. Justice Con. Zack Snyder spoke for about an hour on Snyder Cut, some things to expect. He unveiled like 20 seconds of something. Didn't watch it, but I listened to the whole thing. I basically had it on my iPhone while I was doing some other stuff, and I was listening to the interview. So here's what we're going to do. I wanted to talk about some of the things that he brought up, riff on that a little bit, but also I want to actually see this footage because I believe this clip was released online already, especially for some things that he talked about, how they released this clip without his permission. But this one is Black Suit Superman. So let's check this out. Okay. And then I want to talk about some of the other things that he mentioned. This is how I roll. It's like with the Vero clip. It was like, all right, I'm going to listen to it, but once there's any footage or something unveiling, I'm going to look away. Yeah.
Can't see it. Don't know context.
How we do a lot of this. Yeah.
Yep.
See how you see that kind of charcoal in the cape? It's just that little.
Assuming you're Alfred.
Interesting clip.
I remember this clip from a while ago. I mean, I'm going to show you some footage right now that they did release it online. I don't remember exactly when. It's a little bit longer than that. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if they shot it with Black Suit Superman, and then when they released this clip, they were like, no, we got to add it to the color, or did they reshoot this scene? Because like playing it back, it looks shot by shot the same exact thing, right?
Yeah.
Except the color, beyond the black suit, it's like the entire color correction is more in tune with what Whedon put together himself. And like a lot of the palette around him is a different type of shade, but the shading and all the cinematography, obviously this is all digitally touched up in the one that was released online. But what he released, like what he specifically said was that he wanted to show this little tidbit, even though this clip is online with the red and blue suit. This was more about showing like, no, this is going to be the realizing of an idea.
Superman really arcing into the Superman that we know.
And even though this isn't the highest quality, maybe someone will release a higher quality one online later. This does look better.
Oh yeah.
Like everything, every bit of the cinematography and the visual language of it does look a lot more crisp.
I wonder too how this might change when it actually finds its way into the finished cut, because I mean it was released as a deleted scene in the first place, so it may not even then have been full on color corrected or whatever. But I have to imagine you can do a lot with color corrections. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just went in and tweaked the palette instead of getting a whole new shot or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some fun things like seeing or hearing at least what the chat was talking about, really asking about Green Lantern, and the way he like dodged the question made it seem like there's going to be more of a Green Lantern presence, perhaps. You get a hint of it in the one that Whedon did. The way he was dodging it was like, yep, it's a thing. Like the way he was answering it was so funny.
That's him going, all right, some of that $20 to $30 million is going to go into adding some Green Lantern. Just to get some more exclusive stuff.
He was doing the live stream to see, like, what does everyone really want?
What do people need?
Right, okay, cool.
I get to add some stuff. So
I mean, there were some fun questions that were asked about how to, he knows how to, like, dodge certain answers, because they were asking him specifically about, was it his idea to, like, have Whedon step in? And he didn't say it was his idea to have Joss Whedon take over, but he did own up and saying that it was him and Deborah's idea to step away from the movie, that they do take ownership over that part. They did ask him about if he would use any of Whedon's footage, and he went on this whole hilarious rant. You can watch the whole thing online. He went on this hilarious rant about like how he would rather burn this film than use any of that.
My.
Now, the thing is, he didn't take any specific jabs at the version Whedon did necessarily. There were some jabs that were taken at the fact of, making hilarious moments out of the resurrection of Superman and how that just doesn't make sense to him.
Yeah.
But other than that, he steered clear of starting any direct feud with Joss Whedon over this.
No beef brewing at the moment, although that could also be a clap at Warner's too, because they were probably pretty handy in tinkering with the film themselves.
I just watched Justice League Dark Apocalypse yesterday. It's got me really in the mood to see some of Darkseid now brought to life. I've already been looking forward to it, but the other thing that really intrigued me during this discussion is about how Steppenwolf he's going back to his original design. He wants Darkseid to accept him and take him back. It's supposed to be a fluid storyline of Darkseid and Steppenwolf both being infused into here. So as much as we're all excited to see Darkseid, I'm actually really excited to see a properly done, originally executed version of Steppenwolf himself. There are certain things that get brought up from like Grace Randolph's interview to things he said in the past to even here. Oh yeah, I haven't even really been considering that fact. A proper take on Steppenwolf.
He might be a real character.
Yeah, he wasn't a real character. The design on him and the visual effects were poorly done. As much as I'm someone who says like I really had a lot of fun with the version that was released, I will completely agree with everyone that the Steppenwolf character and design,
not the best.
Everything was not good.
Not
right?
Yeah, could have been better.
Definitely wasn't. That element now, I'm like, ooh, a properly done Steppenwolf, not just Darkseid, but Steppenwolf. Him honing in on that, and the other fun thing that was brought up was this might not even be called Zack Snyder's Justice League.
That would be an interesting change up if he gave it like a whole new title or something like that.
Yeah, he's saying that a lot of this is going to be properly touched on and more unveiled at DC FanDome. Like he had permission to use this clip for Justice Con, but at DC FanDome, we will be getting an actual teaser. According to him, an actual teaser. He said more footage and then clarified it with an actual teaser.
Yeah.
And also there's this whole thing about a shirt.
Oh, the Borg Life shirt?
Yeah, where you can get like an associate producer cred on it, which I want to get now.
Oh, oh you should. Yeah, you've been championing this.
I want the shirt.
Yeah. Hey, man, I heard some of the Ray Fisher panel, and I started kind of getting jealous for one.
Ray Fisher was bringing it up first beforehand. And the other intriguing part, which I'm hoping HBO Max does decide to do. I remember that they released some Game of Thrones episodes, one of the season premieres or season finales. I can't remember which one it was. They put it in IMAX, assuming by the time the Snyder Cut does come out that some theaters will be reopened.
Yeah.
And I love IMAX. He said that he originally shot this to be in IMAX. Like BVS, I did see that in IMAX. He likes working with IMAX cameras, and he was saying that like the footage that was unveiled with Wonder Woman learning about Darkseid and such, the reason that's in that ratio format is because you had to shoot it in that way for IMAX.
Yeah, you have a square frame instead of a rectangle.
Yeah, so he was saying that he didn't like release it in that way, for like Instagram footage or something. You have to shoot it in a very specific format, so they've been having to reformat it for HBO Max, right? But now I'm like, wait, guys, if this is a huge hit, and he said at DC FanDome they will unveil if this is going to be a movie or a series. But either way, I'm like, I mean, sure, release it on HBO Max first, but
either
you
way,
should have a special event down the road where you put this in IMAX, especially since it was shot originally for IMAX.
Oh, yeah. I feel like if theaters are a thing when this drops, it would be kind of foolish not to do some kind of theatrical engagement because of, again, how rabid the fan base is and how supportive. And, I mean, there are times when it is said that the geek fan base doesn't always show up, but in this case, I definitely think they will.
I mean, I've watched movies that I don't really care about, but I've gone back and rewatched them just because they're in IMAX.
Yeah.
Because I love when films are shot for IMAX. I just love the visual experience of it. Even if like the movie itself I'm not a fan of, but I'll go revisit it in IMAX just because it's in IMAX. And I would definitely do that for this.
It's a whole other immersion, yeah. And especially for a fantasy world like this and with the kind of grit Zack Snyder likes to put in his movies, I feel like an IMAX experience would be pretty dazzling.
Yes. And the funny thing, too, because some of the other cast has seen the Snyder Cut or whatever cut he currently had before all this was getting funded by HBO Max and AT&T. People like Jason Momoa. Ray Fisher as Cyborg, he's said many times that he's like the heart of this story. Ray Fisher himself hasn't actually seen this movie. He hasn't seen it. Zack Snyder refuses to let him see it until it's close to being complete.
And then they're going to release a Ray action.
That'd be great.
Is it him checking out the movie?
That'd be awesome.
Honestly, it would be, because too, it would be the perfect place for all the people to join and watch it with him. I would be down.
As far as this goes, I mean, it was a really he's a fascinating person to listen to on an interview. I was hoping we get like a teaser trailer here or some more footage or whatever.
Yeah.
The information alone I thought was very interesting, and if anything, now I'm just super excited for DC fandom to see what's unveiled there with this. Darkseid, Steppenwolf, some fun weed and stuff. You could watch the whole interview from Justice Con. I think it's really well worth your time. I just want to touch on some highlights.
Yeah, and tune into that Joss Whedon Zoom call at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Complete the trilogy.
But guys, Snyder Cut. Did you listen to the interview? What excited you most from the information revealed? Let us know below. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Last but not least, Kent McNoy, our old Australian friend. It's been a long time since we've been really catching up, talking with him in Patreon messages recently. It's funny because in these times of COVID, a lot of people in whatever industry they work in have been dealing with a lot of harsh financial situations. Fortunately for him, he's in the horticulture industry, dealing a lot with plants and such.
Hashtag plant life.
And because a lot of people are quarantined and such, a lot of people are buying more plants. So he's actually been way more busy during this time.
Cleaning up.
So Kent, last time we talked with you, you battled a medical condition and you overcame it. And now with this terrible medical thing going around, you're able to profit, man. This is your comeback. This is your revenge.
You're like Wall Street and Big Pharma. You're just getting all those dollars in from the COVID. Keep it up, Kent.
Happy to know you, buddy. Glad you're still around our Patreon page after so long.
It was really nice to see your name pop back up, yeah.
Love you, man. Hope we can talk to each other again soon. See you, bud.